Hello dear students, welcome you back for lecture number 7 on the topic electric potential and capacitance. So in the previous class we were able to understand what exactly is the capacitor. So capacitor is an electronic device which is going to store the charges, and as per our requirement it is going to discharge the charges, and also we were able to differentiate between a battery and the capacitor. So in today's class we are going to study various types of capacitor, but as per your syllabus we are going to stress more on the parallel plate capacitor. Okay, and we have various types of capacitor, but basically there will be three types of capacitor. The first one will be the spherical capacitor, which I think last class we have already studied. The next will be the parallel plate capacitor, and the third one will be a cylindrical capacitor. Apart from these there will be various types of capacitor, but these are the fundamental types of capacitor. So in your syllabus we are going to stress more on the parallel plate capacitor. Okay, now what exactly is the parallel plate capacitor? Okay, so it consists of two parallel plates. When I say the plates, these are nothing but again the conductors itself, which will have rich number of free electrons which are going to conduct the electricity. So I have two plates which are parallel to each other. Now initially both plates will be neutral, because we know that number of protons are always equal to number of electrons. As a result, net charge on this both the plates will be 0. Now as I told you in the last class, any capacitor is separated by a distance d, and in between that plate or in between that any material, any conductor, there will be one dielectric medium, correct? And you know it depends upon the air and all those factors we are going to study later. Now imagine if I connect this plate with an battery, okay, and this is the direction of the current. So current flows from conventional direction of the current is always positive to negative. If the current is flowing in this direction, it is quite obvious that electron will flow opposite to this. As a result, we understand that all the negative charge will be accumulated here and positive charge will be accumulated here. Now these two capacitors, or sorry, these two plates cannot conduct the electricity, because these two are separated by distance d, and in between that plates it might be any dielectric medium, or for our instance we'll consider they are separated by air or vacuum. So air, since it is the insulator, it cannot conduct. Now students, here important thing is, since they are separated by certain distance, it has accumulated the negative charges. Now for an instant, if I remove this battery, what is going to happen here is, and if I connect one bulb here, for an example, one bulb, so this bulb will glow. Now what is the reason? How did the bulb glow here? You know that bulb will glow only when there is a flow of the charges, when there is a electricity. So bulb will glow because whatever electrons which were accumulated here, they will flow back to this plate, okay, flow through this electrical circuit. As a result, the bulb will glow. Now is this bulb is going to glow forever? No, this bulb will glow for very short instant of time, or maybe little bit, for an instant I would say 15 minutes, 20 minutes, depending upon the capacitor of this plate, Q as well as P, because more number of charges in P, that much will be stored by the Q. Clear? So as soon as all the charges from this, all the free electrons again go back to the P, and again it attains neutrality, this bulb is going to glow. So this is the typical way any parallel plate capacitor works. Okay, now most important thing is, anybody can construct this kind of parallel plate capacitor. You just need two plates, metal plates, separate them with certain dielectric medium, any insulator, or even if you don't separate with any material medium, they are again indirectly they are separated by the air or vacuum, which itself are the insulators. Now you connect them with the battery, allow the charge to flow them, it will be charged, correct? So in first stage it will charge, and if you remove the battery and if you connect any electrical or electronic device, don't say electrical, electronic device, it is going to discharge. Now most important thing is, you have to know what exactly is the capacitance of the capacitor. Okay, we are going to study capacitance of the capacitor. Now students, we are going to study capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor. Now students, already we have discussed that capacitance will be what? Ability to store the charges. So capacitance is the ability to store the charges. Just like resistance, we have already discussed about resistance. Key resistance is independent of, like, V is equal to IR. So this R is independent of V and I. It is a constant quantity, but this R depends upon the dimensions of the material. Same thing is the capacitance. Capacitance is the ability to store the charges, and this capacitance is independent of the charge as well as the potential, but this capacitance depends upon the dimensions of the capacitor itself. Okay, so today we are going to find the expression for capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor. Okay, now students, again consider I have a parallel plate capacitor, both plates. I'll just consider one plate here, or maybe here, P and Q. P having positive charges, Q having negative charges. Clear? Now students, this charge, all the charges are accumulated on the surface of the conductor, and we know that sigma is the surface charge density. In the first topic itself we have studied that sigma is surface charge density, and surface charge density is given by Q by A. Q by A. Clear? So sigma is surface charge density. So charge accumulated over unit area will give you what? Surface charge density. So sigma is given by Q by A. Now students, we have to find electrical intensity due to this plate E1 and electrical intensity due to this plate E2, so that we are going to get total electric field intensity E1 plus E2. Now using Gauss law, we have done one important derivation. We were able to find the expression for electric field intensity due to infinitely long plate, infinitely long plate having uniformly charged. So in that expression we had found key E was equal to sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. So since we have two plates, so this will be 2 times of sigma this. So the net electric field intensity due to these two plates will be what? Sigma upon epsilon naught. Sigma upon epsilon naught. Clear? Now we are going to substitute the value of sigma in this equation. So I'll give this equation number 1 and this as equation number 2. Now this expression is from the Gauss law, from the applications of the Gauss law. Already I have done the derivation for this expression. So why 2 times? Because I have two plates, E1 plus E2. So this will be, this is like half plus half will be what? This full. So now I am going to substitute this value of sigma in this expression. So E will be what? So instead of sigma I will write Q divided by A into epsilon naught, where epsilon naught is permittivity of the free space. Clear? Now we know that this electrical field intensity E, how it is related with the potential V by D, or in some textbook you will find written it as E equals to V by L. Clear? Now students, I'll erase this for an instant. Now already you know the expression for the electric field. It is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square, and for electric potential it will be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R. So the only difference was here we had R square, and for potential we had just 1 R. So one R will remain. Now what will I do here? I'll get for V. V will be what? E into D. Clear? So V will be what? E into D. So what will be V here? E. What will be E here? This equation, Q A epsilon naught into D. Clear? Yes. So I'll give this equation number 4. Now we know that the capacitance of the capacitor C is given by Q by V. Is it not? So now I'll substitute this value of V in this expression, in the capacitance of the capacitor. So this will become what? Q divided by V. V is what? Q by D whole divided by A epsilon naught. Is it correct? So this will become what? The denominator of the denominator will shift back to the numerator, and I can cut this Q with this Q. So what I am left with here is A epsilon naught divided by D. So this is the expression what I get for the parallel plate capacitor. So this is the required expression for capacitance of the parallel plate capacitor. Now look carefully at this expression. You observe that this capacitance of the parallel plate capacitor does not depend upon either Q nor it depends upon V as per our definition, but it depends upon the dimensions of the plate. It depends upon the area of the plate. It depends upon the this epsilon naught is permittivity of the free space. Indirectly I'm talking about dielectric medium. If here I had got any medium, like same expression you would get for this. If we are going to find capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor using one dielectric medium, so what will I do here is I will get what? A equals to epsilon naught R divided by D. So this is the capacitance of the parallel plate capacitor by having any dielectric medium, where this epsilon naught R is what? Capacitance in medium divided by capacitance in air. So this epsilon naught is permittivity of the free space and epsilon naught R is permittivity of the medium. Clear? So this is the general expression for the capacitance of the parallel plate capacitor when placed in air, when two plates are placed in an air, and same expression for capacitance of the parallel plate capacitor when the medium is placed in the when the plates are placed in any dielectric medium. So what do I get here is epsilon naught equals to Cm by Ca, where Cm is capacitance of the medium divided by capacitance of the same capacitor when placed in the air. Now here we observe that this capacitance depends upon the area and it depends upon the inversely depends upon the distance between the two plates. So here I can conclude. Just look at this derivation once again. So is it easy? Have you understood this? I have considered surface charge density Q by A, electric field intensity from the Gauss law. Since we had two plates, we have just added this, so I got this expression. So I have substituted the value of E here. E I got as Q by A epsilon naught from this expression. Instead of sigma, I have substituted here. So we know that from the first topic itself that E is equal to V by D. So indirectly V will become what? E into D. So again substitute this value of V here in this expression and you will get here this. Clear? Okay. Now what we can conclude from here is key capacitance of the parallel plate capacitor depends upon, from the expression itself I can. So in exam they may ask factors on which capacitance of the parallel capacitor depends. Factors depend. First one is what? The area of the plates. Area of the plates. Cross sectional area P and Q. Second, directly depends upon the plate. Okay. Then inversely depends on the distance. Inversely depends on the distance between two plates. So quite obvious, if you keep two plates very far away from each other, then the capacitance will decrease. So try to closer the distance from this expression itself, and it depends upon epsilon naught and epsilon R, which indirectly I call it as dielectric medium. So it depends upon the plate separated by dielectric medium. Clear? Eh? So usually we prefer a material which has big or large number of dielectric constant. So any material having very low dielectric constant would not be preferable to use for the capacitance of the capacitor. Clear? So how to increase the capacitance of the capacitor? Ways to increase capacitance of capacitor. How you can increase the capacitance of the capacitor? So from this expression only itself you can, by increasing the area of the plates. Second thing, by decreasing, same thing, by decreasing, because this sometimes you'll ask question in this way also, so I'm discussing decreasing the distance between the plates and selecting dielectric medium having high dielectric constant. Dielectric constant. Just note it down. Okay. Just copy it down. So last part we are going to study, that is fringing of electric field. Fringing of electric field. So last part we are going to study, that is, usually they don't ask this for the exam, but you should know what is fringing of electric field. So students, I have a capacitor. Which capacitor? Parallel plate capacitor. Again, in short, I will draw. This is P, this is Q, this is having plus charge, and this is having the negative charge. Now you know that the electric field is generated between these two plates. Clear? Now these electric field lines will be parallel in between the plates, and when it comes to the edges or when it comes to the corner, it will be little bit slightly curved in shape. So this process or this phenomenon is known as electric fringing. Okay. So this was today's class. In next class we are going to study the total energy stored in the capacitor. So how much energy exactly stored in the capacitor. Okay. Have you followed today's class? Okay. Thank you.